So you're probably driven on one of the worst freeways in Southern California. Which is it? The LA Times did a scientific study of local freeways using Caltrans data measuring average speed, delays, lost productivity, and fatalities to determine the worst and best stretches of road. 25 freeways made that list, with the 10 freeway between the ocean and downtown LA coming in as the #1 worst freeway. 605 was second, followed by the dreaded 405.
Getting off from 10 to the 405, there's only 2 lanes. And think about it, millions of people driving and they're trying to get out with 2 lanes, so it's going to make it traffic.
And I hope everyone has a good podcast to listen to while they're stuck in traffic.
I would hate to have a job either traveling north or south on the 405, because you would literally spend hours just trying to get to work if you were no more than 10 miles away.
Podcasts, that's my thing. I love a good podcast when I'm driving. So state routes 241 and 261, they're in Orange County. They ranked within the top 3 best freeways, along with the 90 freeway between Marina del Rey and Culver City. All right, Adam, you have a short drive from your house to work. You even know these crazy freeways.
By design, yes. But when I have to venture out, I'm thankful that I'm kind of close to work here. Right. I think mostly a good rule of thumb is if the number of the highway ends in 0 or ends in 5, it's probably going to be a pretty bad one, which is most of them around here, right? All right, let's talk about our weather now. So we've got this major heat wave on the way. We start feeling it tomorrow, but Thursday and Friday will be the hottest days. We also could see potentially, quote, extreme fire behavior, as we have kind of an air mass that could make for unpredictable wind patterns if a fire were to start. And also, another thing we haven't really gotten into too much detail in here yet is the fact that some of the mountains and deserts could actually see some thunderstorms towards the end of this week. And if there's some lightning away from where there's rain, that may also be a fire concern as well. We've got this strong area of high pressure right here, hot temperatures under it. It's nudging westward in our direction, so our temps will be going up in the next couple of days here. And, just kind of interesting to look at the satellite picture, about as clear as it gets over the entire state of California, even out over the ocean. We don't see any clouds in sight right now. All right, temperatures today, it's a warm one out there, but most of these numbers were pretty close to average for this time of year, maybe a slightly above average. You see those 100s and 90s in the deserts, some 90s in the valleys and IE, otherwise 80s, and then 70s closer to the coast. There's a little bit of a closer look. But again, it'll get hotter tomorrow and even hotter for Thursday and Friday. Then we have this red flag warning, but we don't have wind advisories here, because it's not that we have a setup where there's going to be wide, sweeping, strong winds. Yes, it's hot. Yes, it's dry. But also the vertical profile of the atmosphere would allow for large vertical plume growth if a fire were to start, which can create its own wind patterns that can be unpredictable and kind of erratic. Here's an example of how strong the winds really won't be as we go into tomorrow afternoon. Yes, there'll be some gusts 10 to 20 in some of the mountains and foothills, maybe gusts over 20, but it's not like we're looking at wind advisories with gusts 30, 35 or anything stronger than that. So it's certainly not a wind setup like we have with the big Santa Ana wind events, but still fires could get dangerous if they explode. All right, for LA, Inland Orange County, look at the highs going into the mid-90s for Thursday and Friday. Down a little this weekend, but still a pretty hot weekend coming up. For the coast, the 70s will change to around 80 degrees for highs by the weekend. Not too bad to be at the beach. Will be warm for sure, though. Valleys and Inland Empire, this is where we're going to find some of the hottest temps, especially in the San Fernando Valley, where temperatures could get over 105. And in the mountains, we've got the temperatures running warm in the 80s, but I also want to point out in the mountains, watching for scattered rain Friday, Saturday especially, and lower chances after that. Let me show you a few more regions here. For the high desert, we've got temperatures heading into the 100s. The low desert will be very hot, over 110, and also in the low desert, there could be some storms to watch for at the end of the week. Christine?
All right, thank you. Check this out here. The city of Arcadia getting a big boost in fire prevention practices with these guys, lots of them. The first ever goat brush clearing project there took place along with the northern edge of the city. Sheep taking part too. The grass and brush gobbling animals graze from Wilderness Park all the way to Santa Anita Canyon Road, clearing more than 21 acres of dense vegetation. The California Fire Foundation were partners in this interesting effort.